Dear sisters, brothers, and beloved soulmates, I am Ramon Krishna Vadapalli, the owner of this channel, dedicated to promoting a moral and spiritual society worldwide. Our main objective is to share the epic story of the Mahabharata, which serves as a rich collection of spiritual and moral teachings. This includes the Bhagavad Gita, a profound source of enlightenment for all humanity. I kindly ask all viewers to subscribe, like, and share this channel to support our mission. The Mahabharata comprises a total of 589 stories, each contributing to our understanding of life and spirituality. Please subscribe and share and support me for more likewise. Thank you. Yours, Vadapalli Ramon Krishna, ancient yoga trainer. Birth of Draupadi and Drishtadyumna. Drona, the son of the sage Bharadwaja, and Drupada, the son of King Prisata, were once close friends who studied archery together under the guidance of the teacher Agnavesha. Their bond was strong during their days as students. After completing their education, they each went their separate ways. Drupada inherited the throne and became king, while Drona led a life of poverty and hardship. Drona had a son named Ashwathama, who grew up in such destitution that he was made to believe flour-mixed water was milk, as real milk was scarce. One day, moved by his son's suffering, Drona sought help from his old friend, Drupada. However, when he approached him, Drupada, now proud and powerful, mocked him. "What friendship can exist between a beggar and a king?" he said, denying ever knowing Drona and accusing him of lying just to gain favors. Humiliated, but still holding on to the feelings of their former friendship, Drona silently walked away, though the sting of Drupada's insult remained etched in his heart. Later, Drona arrived at Hastinapur and became the royal guru for the Kaurava and Pandava princes. As part of his Guru Dakshina, the fee to be paid by the students, he asked them to capture Drupada and bring him before him. The Kauravas failed in this task, but Arjuna, the third Pandava and Drona's favorite disciple, succeeded. With his exceptional skill and bravery, Arjuna defeated Drupada in battle and presented him to Drona. Drona, acting like a Brahmin humbling a prideful king, chastised Drupada and reminded him of his arrogance. Though defeated, Drupada was deeply hurt and humiliated. Determined to exact revenge, he desired to have a son who would surpass Arjuna in archery and who could kill Drona. To fulfill this wish, he sought the help of a Brahmashi named Yaja. The sage performed a powerful ritual known as Kankshitha Siddhi for Drupada. From the flames of the sacrificial fire, a son emerged, Drishtadyumna, a warrior destined to kill Drona. Immediately after, a daughter was born, a celestial beauty with blue eyes, dark skin, and a fragrance like that of black lilies. Adorned with amethysts and resembling a lotus in grace and charm, she was a divine gift. As they appeared, a voice from the heavens proclaimed, "This boy shall be known as Drishtadyumna, son of Drupada, born to kill Drona. The girl, of the same age, shall be Drupada's daughter, known as Krishna, who will become the wife of Arjuna, and will bring honor to both families." Thus, the girl was known by several names, Drupada Nandana because she was the daughter of Drupada, Panchali as the princess of Panchala, and Yajnasini because she was born from a sacred sacrifice. The city of Kampilia, the capital of the Panchala kingdom, was vibrant with the grand festivities of the Swayamvaram festival. The Pandavas, still in disguise, were residing at the house of a Kumbhakara, potter. On the day of the Swayamvaram, they dressed as Brahmins and entered the grand assembly hall, seating themselves among the Brahmin community. The entire hall was a visual spectacle, filled with young Kshatriya princes from various kingdoms, each adorned in luxurious garments and fine ornaments, eagerly participating in the ceremony. It was the month of Pausha, during the bright fortnight, Shukla Paksha, on the 8th day under the star Rohini. On this auspicious day, Draupadi, the princess of Panchala, was to choose her husband in the Swayamvaram, and the atmosphere in the hall was electric with anticipation. At the center of the assembly stood an elevated stage where a mighty bow was placed, and above it hung a mechanical device shaped like a fish. Into this lively arena walked Drishtadyumna, carrying a garland of jasmine for the goddess descended to earth, along with his sister Draupadi, who was adorned with a white flower garland. Her divine beauty captivated the entire gathering, and even the disguised Pandavas were overwhelmed with excitement. Drishtadyumna addressed the assembly, proclaiming, "O warriors! Take this bow and use the 5 arrows provided to pierce the eye of the fish placed above through the small hole in the machine." He who achieves this shall win the hand of my sister." He further added that only those who were noble, virtuous, and immensely powerful could succeed in such a task requiring immense skill and strength. The assembly included many notable figures: Duryodhana and his followers, the two royal gurus, Drona and Kripacharya, along with Karna, Shalya, Sakuni, King Virata, and Jarasandha. Great warriors like Akrura, Satyaki, Sarana, Pradyumna, Kritavarman, Anirudh, Yuyudhana, Samudrasena, and Shishupala were also present. Even Sri Krishna and Balarama graced the event with their presence. Amidst this grand gathering, Krishna spotted the Pandavas hidden among the Brahmins and discreetly pointed them out to his brother Balarama. As the auspicious music commenced, the kings approached the Matsya Yantra one after another to attempt the challenge. However, the bow was so massive and powerful that it hurled back anyone who tried to lift it with double the force. Many fainted, some were injured, while others gave up and became subjects of mockery for the crowd. The Yodava warriors refrained from attempting the challenge out of respect, as Krishna and Balarama were present. When Balarama prepared to participate, Krishna gently stopped him, saying, "Our brothers-in-law are here. They will handle it," and Balarama respectfully stood down. Karna, the famed archer, and Shalya, the valiant warrior, also stepped forward and approached the bow with great determination. Although Karna struck a dramatic pose and appeared ready to succeed, he ultimately failed to bend the bow and had to retreat, just as Shalya did. With each failed attempt, the anticipation in the hall only grew deeper. Arjuna striking the target fish. The Pandavas were seated quietly among the Brahmins in the assembly, observing the grand Swayamvaram. At that moment, Dharmaraja gave a subtle signal to Arjuna. Understanding the gesture, Arjuna stood up and began walking confidently toward the stage where the yantra, the fish target, was set. His movement stirred a commotion throughout the hall. Some Brahmins murmured in disbelief, saying, "The royal princes themselves couldn't succeed, how can this man, seemingly weak and helpless, do it? Moreover, he isn't even a Kshatriya. Why should such a person have the right to attempt the challenge?" Others among the Brahmins responded wisely, "What does caste have to do with Valor? Are not Kripa, Drona, Bharadwaja, and Parashurama Brahmins as well, and still unparalleled warriors? If this man succeeds, he will become the king's son-in-law. If he fails, it is not a loss to us." The royal families watched the scene with skepticism, some even laughing mockingly at Arjuna's seemingly audacious attempt. But while the entire assembly was buzzing with doubt and whispers, Arjuna, Pratha, calmly approached the stage of the yantra. He remembered his guru and paid his mental respects. Gracefully, with practiced ease, he circled the bow and the arrows. All eyes were fixed on him in silent awe. Then, with great elegance, he lifted the heavy bow without hesitation, and as a gesture of reverence, he bowed slightly and symbolically kissed the weapon. He stood firm, aimed downward into the water's reflection to see the rotating fish above, and then, without faltering, released the arrow with impeccable focus. The arrow shot through the hole and struck the target perfectly. The yantra moved as intended, confirming the hit. A thunderous roar of applause erupted throughout the hall. Cries of admiration, praise, and astonishment filled the space. In that triumphant moment, Draupadi approached Arjuna and adorned his neck with the white flower garland, signifying her choice of him as her husband. Bheema and Arjuna challenged the Kshatriyas. The Kshatriya kings were furious that a Brahmin had won the royal bride while all of them, the mighty warriors, had been defeated. Enraged, they united and stormed toward King Drupada, intending to attack him for allowing such an outcome. Alarmed and fearful, Drupada sought protection from the Brahmin community. The Brahmins, loyal and courageous, came to the king's aid, arming themselves with Krishna spears and maces, and stood guard at the royal palace. Witnessing this escalating conflict, Arjuna stepped in to calm the situation. "Leave it to me. Watch my archery skills," he said confidently, and once again readied his bow. At that moment, Bheema uprooted a huge tree nearby, shook off its leaves, and stood like a wall of protection behind Arjuna. Watching the scene unfold, Balarama turned to Krishna and asked, "Shall we go and help them?" Krishna replied, "Brother, Arjuna is no ordinary man. He can handle this situation on his own. If there's ever a moment when he truly needs us, I will step in. Until then, let's admire the valiant glory of our aunt sons." Bheema and Arjuna then charged into battle, pushing back the attacking Kshatriyas. Karna stepped forward to confront Arjuna, and Shalya engaged Bheema. As the fight intensified, the area transformed into a full-fledged battlefield. Karna was astonished by the sheer number of arrows Arjuna unleashed and exclaimed, "O Brahmin! None can match me in archery except Parashurama, Pakshasana, and Partha. Who are you? Tell me the truth." But Arjuna stood his ground and replied calmly, "Radheya, I am none of those you suspect. I am simply a master of this art." Karna, amazed by the Brahmin's brilliance, respectfully withdrew from battle. Meanwhile, Shalya was defeated by Bheema and retreated as well. Witnessing these feats, Duryodhana's warriors began to whisper among themselves. Who is this Brahmin who could stop Karna? Could it be Nitalaksha, Parashurama, or Falguna? But Falguna was burnt in the Lakshagraha. Who is he, they wondered. And who could defeat Shalya in wrestling other than Bheema or Balarama? But Bheema too was said to have died in the Lakshagraha. Is Balarama here? Who is this Vipra? Everything was confusing to them. Unable to comprehend the reality, they decided to wait until the identities of these men were revealed before taking any further action. At that point, Balarama and Krishna entered the arena. Addressing the crowd, they said, "According to the rules, the heroes have won the challenge and rightfully taken Draupadi. It is not wise or intelligent to stir up conflict and hatred over this matter." With this, they began to dismiss the assembled kings, who then gave up their hostility and dispersed. Turning to Bheema and Arjuna, Balarama and Krishna said, "Now that everything is settled, you two should leave." Accordingly, Bheema and Arjuna, taking Draupadi with them, quietly left for their home, followed by Balarama and Krishna. Meanwhile, King Drupada, still curious about the true identities of these mysterious warriors, instructed his son Drishtadyumna to secretly follow Bheema and Arjuna and uncover their details.